welcome to Movie Bitches. A fitting start to the episode.
Episode 153. Tonight we're reviewing The Mummy 2017. Fuck this movie.
So, holy shit. Oh boy. So we'd heard this movie was terrible. I just didn't think it would be this terrible.
I see, and I maintain, I said it in our Mummy.
Well, you were right. I thought it would at least be entertaining.
Oh.
Not even necessarily funny bad. I just
Right.
thought it would be like a quick, fun action movie that happened to have a mummy in it. Oh boy, this movie was garbage. Like,
This movie was
Oh my
100%
God.
pure,
You know what this was?
cold garbage.
this movie was charmless.
Yes.
Where, like, the mummy has just charm
overflowing.
to spare, just dripping with charm, and you're just like, yes, fuck yes to all of this. This was the absence of charm.
Yeah.
But it thought it was.
Oh.
Oh boy, did it think it was charming. Oh boy, did Tom Cruise think he was charming. Whoa.
I have never really liked Tom Cruise, but I officially hate him.
Like, I was never like, oh, he's cute. Like, I was never that person.
Right.
I thought he was charismatic for a period of time.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, it's fine. Oh, you're running. You're running around and, you know.
He really lost it.
And then now, oh, this was just...
The worst.
Well, like, okay, so the biggest problem with this movie, and that's saying something, is that he's the villain of this movie. I was actively rooting against him as a person.
Yeah, I was like, you're a horrible person. Go
And
fuck
I was
yourself.
really confused about that choice for the lead character. So it starts, and he is question mark in the military. Turns out he's a sergeant, I think.
Apparently.
At some point
he was a sergeant? I'm not
Courtney
sure.
B. Vance says, sergeant, and you're like, oh. But he is straight up looting treasure from Iraq.
We don't even know what's down there.
Treasure. That's what's down there.
Come on, Avaryl. Where's your sense of adventure?
And you're watching this like, oh, am I supposed to be rooting for these asshole Americans who are looting ancient treasures from this country and abusing their power because they're part of the military? And so then they're just going to blow up this... I mean, sure, they were insurgent... Right, okay, you know, faceless, insurgent, evil people.
Ooh, but can we talk about the way they handled that?
Yikes, it was really upsetting. Are we supposed to be rooting for... Like, they order an airstrike on these people so they can steal treasure.
Well, I think they ordered the airstrike so that he wouldn't die.
But, like, they had talked about ordering the airstrike before they even went down there.
That is true.
Nobody is likable.
Nope, literally no
or
one.
you don't know who they are, or what they do, or why they're there. I had a lot of questions about the main woman. This is what I need to know. Why was she there?
Like the spoiler alert version of why she was there?
No, like, the movie just started, why do we think she's there?
I have no idea.
Okay, that's the problem, because I was like, is she an archaeologist? Is she a military archaeologist? Is that a thing?
Maybe.
If so, love it. It's so unclear, and everyone just knows her. And everyone's like, oh, hey, Jenny. And you're like, what are you doing here? I don't understand.
We first are introduced to her, and she's like, slaps him in the face, and is like, she's like, you stole from me. He apparently fucked her 3 nights before, or whatever, and then stole the map. But that still doesn't explain.
Still doesn't explain why she's there.
And it just,
Like,
they set it up where I
spoilers.
was like, oh, good, tell me who she is and why she's here.
Like, she's
oh,
gonna
no,
be like,
we're...
I'm Jenny Van Camp, the military archaeologist who you sent for because I'm a specialist in Egyptology. And isn't it weird that there's this Egyptian stuff in the Persian Gulf and blah, 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 blah. Nope, none of it. With all the exposition, the heavy voiceover and exposition in this movie, I had no idea who she was.
Wait, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so did it start with them in the desert?
No. It started with the Knights of Templar.
That's what I thought.
It started and it was Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter
Nope.
at all.
Particularly because they then told us
Oh,
what happened again later and showed it to us again. Okay.
Wait. We have to back it up. So she slaps him across the face because they slept together.
Uh-huh.
And
And
then
he stole from her.
And he stole from her. She is rightly upset.
Yeah.
So then she makes a sort of a side joke that he only lasted in the sack for 15 seconds. This joke is brought up so often. He is so insecure about this one dig that she made about his virility, and
for me, it was basically just joke after joke of Tom Cruise being like, no, really, I'm straight, you guys. I like women. I do. I slept with her. I'm good in bed, I swear.
We slept together and it lasted long. You have to, validate me.
Right?
You have to validate me. It lasted way longer than that. Why would you say it didn't last that long? I mean, come on. You should just go tell them that, I'm really good in bed. He was like a 13-year-old boy. It was really weird.
It was so weird.
And it just
I was just like, who wrote this?
Up. It just kept coming up. And I just could not believe it. So then, I mean, it's wacky. And I feel like we're not talking about the mummy, but there's some stuff we need to get through.
Yeah.
So then they're on that big jet that's the big set piece for that stunt where they're all flying around.
But we missed the huge big part.
Hold on.
Okay.
This is still about his virility.
Oh, God.
So then they're on the plane, and she has to get something from the above
God.
her, right? And she says she's lifting her arms up. Her shirt was too short. Oh, my God. And there's a really awkward shot of her taut and tan stomach, and he just looks at it like, I don't know.
And it was supposed to be this weird thing where it was like, oh, I wish I could just get in those pants. It's like, but apparently you already fucked.
Slept with her 3 days ago. I thought it was genuinely going to be like, oh, and she has some Egyptian tattoo or some belly chase, something that would warrant that shot, right?
Nope.
Literally did not. It was so awkward.
This movie was so bad.
This was the worst movie we've seen this year.
Absolutely.
By far. I was pretty ready to leave. I was like,
I was so ready.
We leave?
I wish you had said so because I would have left.
But I'm glad we stayed purely because I couldn't imagine it getting worse, and then it did. It got worse.
It really did.
So what were you going to say?
Well, so I was going to say, the movie starts and it goes, Dark Universe. And I laugh out loud.
That's right. I forgot about that.
They are really leaning into this, and it's the worst idea I've ever heard.
Well, so apparently they had already tried to start it with Dracula Untold, which nobody saw and was awful.
I didn't even know it came out.
Exactly. A few years ago. The guy who played Gaston played Dracula. And then they were like, oops, that didn't work. Merp. And now they're really leaning in.
And they're like, we're going to do the Mummy. Oh, that didn't work.
I guess we're going to do a solo Russell Crowe, Jekyll and Hyde movie, which...
You just ruined it.
Spoilers.
So, okay.
So the only thing I can imagine being worse than this movie is the solo Russell Crowe, Jekyll and Hyde film that is inevitably coming out.
Who are you? I'm a doctor.
My name is Jekyll.
What happened to Russell Crowe? What happened to Russell Crowe, though?
I don't know.
When did the shift happen?
Right?
It was good there for a minute. And then, I don't know. I guess he just sank his ship with Ridley Scott. He was like, Ridley, we're in this till the end. Let's make a bunch of shitty movies all in a row and no one's going to see them or remember them.
I don't know.
And then I'm gonna be a crazy person, and then I'm just gonna forget how to act. I think it's that he keeps getting miscast.
Yes.
Certainly, because he was basically playing
his character from Winter's Tale.
Winter's Tale is what I was about to say.
Yeah, and also his character from Fantastic Beasts.
He was in Fantastic Beasts.
Wasn't he the villain until Johnny Depp reveals his face?
No, that was Colin Farrell.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
But Colin Farrell is in Winter's Tale. So that's what happened.
That's what happened. So wait, okay. So
it starts.
So we've seen this Knights Templar thing, right? And this Knight Templar is buried with this red garnet stone. And you're like, what's that? Okay. And then it cuts to a tunnel boring machine.
Oh, right.
Poking through into this giant atrium with all of these sarcophagi.
It's more of a crypt.
Whatever. I just the whole time kept wondering to myself, they're building a subway and no one did any sort of subterranean surveys or sonar and
cameras down
there.
Right.
No one knew what the ground was like.
Who was the geologist? That's the real question in this film.
That's what I want to know. So all of these like subway construction workers are here, and then all of a sudden,
Oh, I forgot!
there's this dark silhouetted shadow of a person.
And I leaned over to Andrew and said, "Oh, who's that, Russell Crowe?"
And it was!
And then it was. And I was like, wait a minute.
Why?
This is bananas.
Bananas.
Oh, right, and his accent was weird. He can't do accents either. Much like Ewan McGregor. Oh boy, if you have been watching the new season of Fargo, I mean, at this point, he's just given up. He is just Scottish. Once you get to about episode 5 or 6, you're like, oh, so you're just Scottish now? You're just not going to try it for the Wisconsin accent anymore? No? Okay. I think it's best.
What is the point of you? You're supposed to be a fixer. Nothing's fixed. Everything's broken.
Why couldn't he have been an Australian Jekyll and Hyde? Spoiler alert, turns out later on, they were, this was the funniest thing.
This was the point of the movie when I just went, what? Forget it.
So Tom Cruise is pulled into this whole thing, and he's in this like weird torture chamber / Fortune 500 office.
First they walk through and it's like, here are all the antiquities from the Universal monster movies. And it's like Dracula, Wolfman, the creature from the Black Lagoon, because apparently they're bringing that back too. And they just don't seem to get why those movies were good.
They clearly don't get it.
I mean, clearly
They
not.
clearly don't get it.
At all.
Because you know what's really annoying?
What?
I would have actually have been down for like a Mummy remake, reboot, whatever, with like, PETA, I need ya. Come on.
Garrett Hedlund?
Yeah, Garrett Hedlund.
I mean, certainly someone sexy. Because Tom Cruise,
Not sexy.
as quote unquote young and in shape and like good as he looks for his age.
That was weird though too.
Well, so his
this whole
part-
movie felt like it was like this weird like,
It was
we
like,
gotta stroke Tom,
Okay, Tom,
Cruise's
sure,
ego.
Sure. Yeah, you should have a naked scene. Yes, of course, Tom. He looked poofy or something. And
Wait,
red.
He looked way too fake tan.
He looked rested.
You look tired means you look old. And you look rested means you've had collagen.
He looked rested. Tom Cruise's part seems to be written for a scrappy, dashing, young,
Yes.
late 20s, early 30s something person. So the whole movie seems very weird.
Yeah.
But there's this really weird line where Russell Crowe has turned into Hyde, which is basically just him with like a skin disorder and weird eyes.
Yeah.
It looked real bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, blah, blah, he's fighting with him, and then he goes to Tom Cruise, he goes, well, you're a young man.
No, he goes, you're younger than I.
Either way, Tom Cruise is 54, Russell Crowe's 53. It was odd.
It was so weird. That's what I'm saying. It was like this whole movie was like just geared around telling Tom Cruise how young and virile and great he is.
He's so good in bed, though. He's like great.
What the fuck? It was so weird.
And he handpicked the blonde lady to be in the movie.
Oh.
Because, like, he liked her in something else. She wasn't awful.
She was fine.
Her character was written... Her character?
Or what? Yeah.
Her character.
I don't even know.
It's because I'm still not really sure what her job is. I gotta be honest. Even with the reveal that she's working for
Hyde.
Russell Crowe and the Monster Mash people,
Oh
I still don't know what her job is.
Monster Mash people.
That's what... I mean, if they really got it, they would be
It's
calling...
a Monster Mash.
It's a graveyard smash. If they really got it, they would be calling this the Monster Mash universe. And then I would be like, just watch the Monster Squad though, guys. But like, seriously, just go watch Monster Squad. It
Maybe.
definitely seems like, oh, fuck, we're running out of the licensing on this IP.
Apparently that's what it is.
We have to make some sort of a film. Well, here.
The only part that I liked about this movie...
I don't know what this is, because I didn't like anything about this movie.
So, back in Egypt, she becomes like this evil...
Oh, right.
Whatever.
Her backstory is she was gonna be the queen.
Yep.
But then her dad fucked one of the handmaidens and got a son, so he was gonna inherit everything.
Yep.
That is her motivation for making a deal with Set, the god of death, and then she becomes evil and then kills
Murders
everyone.
everyone.
Now, I was like,
Why wouldn't you just kill the baby?
Oh, I left the window open.
Exactly.
Oh no! I mean, it is Egypt, so it doesn't get particularly damp there. But you know, just like, oh no, the wolves got him.
A snake in the baby's room? How did that get there?
It must have been the enemies of the pharaoh. You know, something. I didn't understand why she needed to make a quote unquote deal with the devil.
I didn't either.
Just kill that baby.
Right.
I mean, you know, don't kill babies, but you know.
Well,
in the context of the story, just kill that baby.
I was so
and then
confused.
If she kills it, then like, oh, now she's cursed because of some stupid amulet or some shit, and that's why she's.
Well, I thought it would have just been like basically like the original Mummy, where it was like, oh, she killed someone that she wasn't supposed to kill.
Now they're performing the hum die on her. Yeah, so I mean, it would have
been like, no, not the hum die!
Not the hum die!
It's gonna come back to bite you!
Then you'll come back and you'll be invincible! Remember when the Book of Amun-Ra showed up? For no reason?
No reason. Also, wait, okay, so Russell Crowe is narrating this whole backstory.
Why?
I don't know why, because I couldn't understand half the things he said.
He was doing a real weird accent.
Armanet understood power was not given.
Also, what was her name?
Armanet.
No.
Armanet.
Oh,
Armanet.
Oksana Bayul.
I wish. It was literally just, he said, no.
Armanet.
My favorite part, so she becomes evil.
Yes.
And then, if she uses the dagger of Set to murder this mortal man, who's real fun.
He was kind of hot, but they didn't set up, like, I was like, is that her boyfriend?
But I was like, who's this lover that she's seducing?
Well, then it seemed like they were fucking, but then they were both like wearing diapery, wrappy things.
But we'd also never seen him before. I wish she had like a lover who she was gonna turn into Set, and they could rule the world together.
And, like,
I'm sorry, like the Mummy?
He's her like trainer, right? When they're fighting.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe he was.
Who knows? I mean,
but like he's the one that trained her to combat, and he's like in love with her, but she's the queen or whatever. And then they make a deal, and then she's trying to bring him back. Again, it's really just the Mummy that I would want to be watching. Also, most of her scenes were simply flashbacks.
Yeah.
That looked like 90s music videos. It was a lot of billowy curtains and harsh bangs and her doing looks to the camera and then like following her in the sand with billowy fabric, and she's gonna sing on this sand dune and like not saying any lines. There was a lot of that, and I was like,
spot on.
Right?
Yeah.
I was really confused. I was like, but this doesn't matter.
No.
We're going to show it again? I really just want to watch The Mummy again, even though I just watched The Mummy.
I would rather watch The Mummy 100 times in a row than ever watching this movie again. Oh,
we have to talk about his friend.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So basically, this is my issue.
Yeah.
So it starts, and Tom Cruise is literally the worst.
Yeah, he's
a bad friend.
People in danger.
Yep.
Hey, we're gonna die because of you! Just let me think! What? I'm thinking we're probably gonna die here.
He was a horrible human being.
Yeah, he really was. So anyway, so he like slashes New Girl's, what's his name?
Well, the weird thing is, isn't his name Nick?
Yes, in New Girl.
But in this, Tom Cruise's name was Nick, and it just felt wrong the whole time. So basically, he's the comic relief, but he's not funny. And at a certain point, he gets bit by a spider, and then turned into a zombie.
Yeah.
And then is killed.
Yep.
And is purely a figment of Tom Cruise's imagination. Well, that's the other thing. So he gets bit by a spider. Nobody's concerned.
Yeah.
He starts to get veinage and like horrible like
necrosis.
You need a hospital, sir.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. They're on the plane. He's laying down, eyes rolling back into his head, and I was like, no one cares. There's not a medic. No one's even gonna give him like a cold compress. Like they didn't even be like, oh, here, take this antibiotic. Nothing. Then it turns into, he keeps showing up and is basically Griffin Dunn from American Werewolf in London. Like he's showing up and he's just like, I'm your decayed friend. Save me from my eternal damnation. Ha! And it's just awful.
Awful. I mean, like, I would try and fix this movie, but literally it would just be a different movie. Here's a question. If you're doing 2017 Mummy, right? and you're not just gonna set it in the 20s and 30s and like imperialism.
Yes. You can't just be like, well, it was back then.
Right?
Well,
because
everyone was doing it. So like,
and that's the big problem. It's like, oh, here he is in Iraq, fighting insurgents / stealing their antiquities. Now, if it had been some sort of military thing, right? And he's like this army man who gets stuck there because of a sandstorm or whatever.
He happens to stumble upon it. And
exactly.
then what's this? Oh my,
genie in the lamp kind of situation.
No.
He awoke the mummy. And he's a military man, so he has, he has to save the world because that's his job.
At some point, Russell Crowe or somebody says like, oh, well, she picked you because you're
a thief,
you're strong,
and
you're thieving, and your moral code is whatever, and you're really virile, and you're very good in bed, and you're much younger than your age, and you're just all around great at everything that you do. And that seemed weird because it seemed real happenstantial. Yes. Now, was it that they had discovered the Templar Knights and that awoke the Garnet, which then awoke her, which then caused him to then awake her? Like, did that all... That seemed very coincidental.
Yes.
But then is it like, oh, it was all this cause and effect? I
don't know. Also, okay, can we just talk about the place that they buried her in?
Oh my god, I mean, for days? For days.
This movie simultaneously acknowledges and ignores the effects of mercury on a person.
Well, here's my question. So she's buried in this very elaborate Saw-esque, like, torture, whatever. There's all these weights and pulleys, and she's under this water, blah, 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 blah. And it's all full of mercury. Liquid, raw mercury. Is she, like, crazy because... Is the mercury affecting her in some way?
Well, so, blonde military archaeologist, she has a throwaway line where she says, oh, the ancient Egyptians believed that mercury could temper evil spirits.
Oh, okay.
So it was like, we're going to surround her with mercury.
That's fine. I get why the Egyptians... Sure, they thought that. But present day... Is the mercury that she has been swimming in for 5,000 years affecting her?
Apparently not.
Okay. Is it affecting any of them?
Well, that's what I don't understand.
Okay.
This is where the movie just sealed its own fate for me.
Oh god, I was already out. The second that Tom Cruise had a line of dialogue, I was like, oh, he's wrong for this part.
Where's your sense of adventure?
Oh, he's the villain. It's like when you watch Top Gun years later and you're like, wait a minute. No. Maverick's the villain of this movie.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
But so I really knew that the movie was unsalvageable.
Yeah.
When
they murdered all of those people, not civilians, but all of those people without any regard and just... Because for treasure. Purely for treasure.
And then also when they have the airstrike and then they all run away just screaming incoherent, like indecipherable, like Middle Eastern terrorist yelling. That might have literally been what it said in the script. It was just like so offensive. This felt like it was written 12 years ago. I'm
going to go ahead and say 20. It was like real gross. There was some gross misogyny.
Do you think this was like a script that they threw out for the original, like the 99 Mummy?
No.
And they were like, let's just bring that one back and we'll make it with Tom Cruise. Can we talk about my favorite, my second favorite part of the movie, aside from the hot guy who like only has 10 seconds of screen time and then gets murdered?
Sure. Actual favorite or ironic favorite?
Ironic favorite.
Great.
It's not an exact science, this business.
And the business being...
evil.
Evil.
With a straight face. I laughed so hard. I don't think the people in the theater appreciated it. Because I couldn't keep it in.
I couldn't keep it in.
Anymore. At that point, I thought, ooh, is this movie going to transfer over into schlock? Is it going to get... Wait, is the second half of this movie going to be, like, hilarious? No. And then it was like, oh, no, it wasn't.
No. Oh, I mean, so then a bunch of other shit happens and it's all inconsequential and it's all stupid. Basically, though, what's really strange is that Tom Cruise turns into the mortal incarnation of the god of death, Set.
So if they make a new movie,
because it'll be him.
It'll be him.
Yeah, because he sucked all of the life out of her. You know what else is weird though is that they then still covered the mummified, shrunken carcass of Sophia Petrillo.
Let's call it that from now on.
Yes.
Sicily.
Fiction this.
Well,
Egypt. 1200 BC. You know what? Doesn't matter. I don't care. If they actually end up making another movie of these, which I doubt they will because it did so poorly, thank God.
Wait. But they're definitely like going to try and make that Jekyll and Hyde Russell Crowe movie though.
I hope they don't. If they do, I'm not seeing any of them. I'm telling you right now, I refuse.
The Dark Universe is
The Dark Universe
limits.
is out.
It's out.
100%.
What if Michael Fassbender joins the Dark Universe?
I will be really sad for his career.
What if he's, Wolfman? Now, that I would be into. Yeah, you know it. You know you'd see it. And then he'd have to transform, and then he'd be like, oh no, I'm naked in the woods again.
Yes.
Oh.
Show me more of that.
Oh no, I'm naked in the woods again. Oh.
Yeah, I am here for Michael Fassbender naked in the woods. Absolutely. I hate the story of Jekyll and Hyde. I just I'm not here for it. I hate it. It's
in general?
Yes, it's so tedious every time. It's
but
just
the musical is so good.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my god.
So maybe I would like that.
It's so good.
Okay.
There's a whole number where it's really stupid but like really amazing at the same time and very theater. Where he's singing as both of them, so he'll be like, no, I'm good, and he'll be like, no, you're evil, and then he keeps changing, and his hair is like messy on one side, and then he's like, what, save my soul? It's so good. Also, there's a David Hasselhoff filmed version of it.
Oh boy.
That is terrible. And we should probably watch it. Like, it's the worst. Now, if David Hasselhoff was going to be Jekyll and Hyde in this new universe, more on board than Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe's just the worst for this. Oh no, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm just so over it.
So can we just talk about how the end
doesn't make any sense?
Well, it doesn't make any sense, but basically, it's this stupid, overplayed thing where this woman made him a better man because she believed in him.
Yep.
To blah, 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 blah. So he picked the right choice.
Yep.
Because he's really good in bed and he lasts really a long time and
Right.
is a real sexy, virile man who, is still in the prime of his life. The last line of the movie is, sometimes it takes a monster to kill a monster. And I was like, oh boy.
Welcome to a new world of gods and monsters.
This really made me want to watch Gods and Monsters. Have you seen Gods and Monsters with Brendan Fraser and Ian McKellen? Oh, it's really good.
Okay.
It's like Brendan Fraser's real movie
Cool.
where he was trying it for a minute.
I'm solidly confirmed that I will not watch any of these movies.
Unless Michael Fassbender plays Wolfman.
Absolutely. And I'm also solidly confirmed that I'm just going to full on avoid any Tom Cruise movie from here on out. This was so stupid. I hate all of this. I hate everything that's happening. I hate it. Just go watch The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. If you haven't watched our retro review,
oh my god,
it.
if anybody has a VHS tape of
Yes.
The Mummy 1999, I would really like to possess it.
Or The Mummy Returns.
Or just The Mummy 1999. I would really like to possess it.
Oh, Rachel Weisz.